Hello, we are here at McPherson's Ridge at Gettysburg, and I'm going to tell you all about what happens here. First, let me just kind of give you an idea of where we are. If you look this way, this is east of where I'm standing right now, and that is the town of Gettysburg, which we'll see in a closer way. Where you see that second smaller cupola, that was actually there during this battle, and that was used in order to see what was actually occurring. You see these fences that go along that road, which the road was there at the time, and if this direction where you see the traffic lights is north, this direction out here is west. I'm going to take you down closer to that and show you, but that's where the Confederate Army is. Confederate Army is out that way, and most of the Northern Army is out that way. And you're going to have a few people here, which I will tell you as I get to the battle. But before I get to the battle, let me just lead you up to it, and let's talk about why. Why does Robert E. Lee make the decision to attack, to actually invade the North? Of course, up to this point, other than one time when he fights in Antietam, which is in neutral Maryland, the battles have taken part in the South and in the West. So what's Robert E. Lee trying to do? This was a question, of course, at the time. Robert E. Lee, prior to this battle, he's going to be requested by the Secretary of War, Seaton, and by the President, Jefferson Davis, to give over some of his people, Pickett's division, and maybe some more people, and send him out to Vicksburg to help out there. And Robert E. Lee basically refuses to do this. You know, he's polite Southerner. He doesn't ever say no. He just doesn't do it, and he doesn't agree to do it. And of course, you may be saying, well, he's a general. The president's the president, the Secretary of War. Why don't they just order him? Because Robert E. Lee's pretty special already in terms of the way people look at him, and you're going to have to deal with him and give him the dignity that he feels he deserves, and you can't just really order him to do something that he doesn't want to do. That's probably not a good political move for anybody. So instead of doing that, what Jefferson Davis does is he asks him to come out and talk to him in Richmond, and that's what happens on May 14th. And that's when Robert E. Lee divulges this plan, which he's had for a long time, to, instead of just send some people to fight a battle that's probably already lost, right, in terms of Vicksburg, send people out into the North. A lot of advantages to doing this. You know the old phrase, the best defense is the best offense. I mean, first of all, there's more food out here, so he thinks he can feed his army more easily than he's able to do in the South at the time. But most importantly is he wants to terrify the Northerners. And I'm going to show you around a little bit more as I talk. He wants to terrorize the Northerners and get them scared that he's going to invade Washington, D.C., or New York, or Philadelphia. If you bring the war to the North, maybe it becomes real. And Lincoln has a lot of political difficulties here. If he can get, in the off election, if he can get, when I say he, I mean Robert E. Lee, if he can get more anti-war Democrats elected, maybe they're going to force maybe they're going to force Abraham Lincoln's hand. So it's a pretty reasonable idea to go out and to attack, because let's face it, time is not Robert E. Lee's friend. He just wins his big battle in Chancellorsville. Well, did he? I mean, everybody celebrates this battle as his greatest moment. Because he's fighting this battle and he has much less people than Hooker, and he divides his army into two, and he's able to defeat the army. But the reality of the situation is it changed nothing strategically, and he lost 20% of his army. Looking over here, here's still a believer here with the Confederate flag, as you can see. Here, make sure you can see that. Okay, he lost 20%. The North lost 12%, but of course the North has no problem refilling for lost people, getting replacements. The South's pretty much done. At this point, they've already started the very first draft in the United States. And now they've even broadened it so it goes from 15 to 50. I mean, they're out of people here. And so if he keeps winning these battles, he's going to lose the war, because there's only so many times you can lose 20% of your men. He lost Stonewall Jackson, which is another whole thing that's gonna really play a role in this battle at Gettysburg. So Robert E. Lee needs to do a crushing blow. He needs to do something to change the landscape, and he needs to do something to scare these people out north, to bring the war to them. They're all comfortable, they're all home. It's not affecting them like it's affecting the South. So he needs to do that, and maybe he can change things so that politically Lincoln's going to be forced to make a deal he doesn't want to make. So that's the reason Robert E. Lee ends up attacking. Why Gettysburg? Well, that we will hear, but I will tell you from the very beginning, I don't think he has a specific plan of where he's going to attack once he goes north. I think he's doing it step by step. Maybe he's going to go to Harrisburg. Maybe he's going to go to Philadelphia. If somehow it becomes reasonable and possible, maybe he'll attack Washington, D.C. So I think he's going step by step, and he's seeing what he's going to see. Does he ever sit down prior to this event, long prior to this event, and say, let's have a battle in Gettysburg? No. Nobody plans for this thing to happen here. That's why it's what we call a meeting contest. It's going to be an interesting battle because people have to really figure this thing out as they go. They have to grab the best maps they can. You need those people who can come out here, take a look at all this stuff we're looking at. Take a look at it. There's my friend with the Confederate flag over there. You need these soldiers who can come here and look at the topography and figure out what's what. So that's kind of what Robert E. Lee's planning. Now, what's up with the North? I'll tell you that in the next segment.